Okay, what I want everyone to do today for homework is you need to find out the mass of a train pulling a car. Right. And for extra homework, I want you to find out how many joules of energy a bomb produces. Wait, sir, aren't you gonna tell us anything else we need to do to solve this homework problem, maybe? Well, no, that's for you guys to work out. That was an over-dramatization of what a physics teacher is like, but I think you get the point from that. If you get set physics homework, you don't want to go home and find out all the formulas yourself, do all the working out, and then put the numbers in and do all that complicated stuff to get your final answer. I'm sure what you want to do is make a program that will take you about maybe 20 minutes from my instructions, and then just plug in your numbers, and then boom, you've got your answers. So that's the objective of today's tutorial. What we want to do is create a simple version of that, where we're just going to use it to find out values for the amount of energy a bomb has, and, and that kind of thing. And then, yeah, we will get to building that program. So before we get into the video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you aren't already. And yeah, let's get into it now. Okay, now there are going to be a few things we need to do to make this program. Number one, we're going to have to identify the train's mass, acceleration, and the distance it travels, and the bomb's mass. Now, this is very simple because with the power of programming, we can choose these ourselves, and we can make it whatever we want to make it. So I'm going to say, with easy numbers, train's mass equals 10,000. And these are just random units. You don't have to worry about units like you would in a normal exam. And then we're going to say train acceleration that's all we need to do to make this, nothing else. So now the program and us easily identify what the train's mass is, what its acceleration is, etc. So now we're going to define a function. Now this function allows us to write code that we won't need to repeat again. We will never need to repeat it. And we want to make one to get the force. Now if you've done basic physics, we know force equals mass times acceleration. So I'm going to represent that with this function. Okay, so you see here where I've said def get force mass comma acceleration. This creates a function with the inputs mass and acceleration. So it takes in those values and it of course returns the force. And it returns the force because I put return mass times acceleration. Use a star for multiply. So that's all it is. We'll never need to write this code out again because it's all here. If we didn't write this code, if you've got a larger program, this could take a very, very long time to write. But of course, we're smart here, so we do it the efficient way. So that's that function done. Now we want to explicitly get the train's force. So how do we do that? Well, as you can see above, we wrote train's mass and acceleration. So what we need to do to get the train's force is multiply the train's mass times acceleration, right? So we're going to create a variable called train force. And we're going to set that equal to get force. And we're going to say train mass. Now, why do we do that? Well, that's because this automatically multiplies mass times acceleration for us. Because we've already declared the variables above, where it says train mass and train acceleration is 10,000 times 10, this conveniently sets it up for us to easily multiply it without having to do anything else. And because we already declared the variable here, it already multiplies it for us and returns it. So I'll just print out train force. Boom. And then I can print it out in a sentence if I want, just to show you how to do the strings. I can say print, and then to add it with the actual number, because it's an integer, which is a whole number, you have to put str around it and then put train force. or else you'll have a type error and your program won't run. So that's done. It's going to print out the train force for us. Let's go through this now and run it. Okay, I click run. Underneath, it will print out the train force over here, which is 100,000, and the train force is 100,000. Of course, 10,000 times 10 is 100,000. So we know the first part of our code is working. Okay, on to the second part. This is where we're going to define the energy of getting a bomb. So we're going to have def get energy. So again, this is just setting this up for us never to have to write this code again. Then we're going to have the mass, of course, and C, because E equals mc squared, remember? So we're going to have mass, and then we're going to have C equals. Now this notation might throw you off to the power. Why am I putting 2 stars? Well, in Python you have to put 2 stars because I'm sure when you're typing you might have seen this notation, the upside down V to use to the power of, as I had it as well, but unfortunately in Python you have to use 2 stars. Now what are we going to have to do to get the energy? Well, if E equals mc squared, we're going to return the mass times energy squared, and we're going to put brackets around it so that it's very easy for us to understand. Now we've got C here, C equals that mc squared, so that's going to be the c squared part, and that's done there. Now we can just say this similar to what we did for the train. We can say bomb energy equals, and we can just put 1. Now, why don't we have to put 2 things like we did last time? Well, we could actually put 1, or we could put the variable that we declared before, which is a good idea because you can put either one, but just to be consistent, we'll put this. Now, why are we putting 1 thing? Well, we've got variables here. If you look back to line 7, we've got mass and acceleration. These aren't declared variables. They are what we're putting as our own parameters. So we can put whatever we want. Here, where we've got C equals 3 times 10 to the power 8 in line 14, we've declared a variable in this line. So we can't change this. Or rather, we shouldn't change this. So each one corresponds to the first one in the list. Here, you got mass equals train mass, and acceleration refers to train acceleration. Here, we've got mass that relates to bomb mass. And then when you've got your mass times C to the power 2, that's where you get your correct value from. So now that we've got that bomb energy line, we can just say so here you can see this is a slightly longer string, but it's the same concept. We've got our text, then we're going to say our string with the bomb mass, and then we're going to say joules because that's the form of, that's how energy is represented. And that's all we need to do there. Now the last one we'll need to do is get the work done. Now work done is force times distance, so we're going to repeat the step in creating a function. I'd advise you to pause it here and see if you can do it yourself, and I'm going to speed up the typing then explain what I've done. Okay, so that's this typing done. What I've done is declare a function with mass, acceleration, distance. Now I did it individually so that it's clear to see what's going on. And then I got force. Because we know that the work done is force times distance, we know the force is going to be mass times acceleration, as the 2 we mentioned above. And then to get our work done, we just do return force times distance because we've already declared what the force is. Now, bear in mind, we haven't declared what the force or distance or acceleration is yet here, but that's where we're going to type it out now. So we're going to get our train work, which you can just think of as work done because that's what it is referring to. And then we can say get work. And because we set our values up right in the beginning, because we're smart, we can just put train mass. Now, multiplication works either way. 3 times 2 times 1 is the same as 1 times 2 times 3, but you can't do it with that logic in Python, especially when you've declared your variables. Because let's say you put train acceleration to train mass, you're gonna assign it the wrong values. Yes, you'd get the same answer as the output, but just as a force of habit, you shouldn't be doing this because this will mess around with your variables. Then you can just print out a statement. So now that's done, I'm going to save this and run. And here you can see with the other code as well, our train force is 100,000, our bomb supply is 1 joule of energy, and the train does, is this a million? 10 million. I should say joules amount of work, but same thing applies. I could just say joules of work. That will make more sense to everyone. And we run the program and it gets updated. Okay, that's better. Now we can also say over a certain distance, and you just add a string and you'd have train distance, but I'm going to leave that for you to do yourselves. If you want this code or a variation of this code, it's in the link in the description below in my GitHub. And yeah, that's the end of the video. Okay, so that's the end of the tutorial now. What we want to do next for the more complex part of the program is to allow you to input for most of the general physics equations, and then you've got your equation worked out right then and there like that. You don't need to do anything else to it. And yeah, there are going to be a few other things. You can leave suggestions in the comments below just to see what else I could improve. I've got a few ideas, but of course having your input is better. So yeah, share this video, like the video, subscribe, and until next time, bye.